Salve omnis, and this is the last part for Explain for Lost Disney Media. So, let's go. Green Monkeys. Green Monkeys is a lost animated pilot for a Disney series made by Betty and Michael Paraskevas, who also created Maggie and the Ferocious Beast and the kids from Room 402. The sitcom would have focused around two monkeys named Spider and Flytrap who, after being removed from the wild, attempted to establish a temp agency in New York City's Lower East Side. Production Green Monkeys was presented and optioned at Walt Disney Television Animation in the late 1990s. Disney engaged Spumco, led by John Kricfalusi, to develop the series for television after being disappointed with its progress. A pilot, directed by Gabe Swar, was made there in 1999, however Disney eventually passed on the series for unclear reasons. Betty and Michael Paraskevas would eventually adapt the story into a weekly comic strip that ran in the local newspaper Dan's Papers. Kricfalusi has shared some of his work from the series on his blog, Status, Lost. Hannah Montana Anime Adaptation. Hannah Montana is an American live-action children's comedy starring Miley Cyrus that ran on the Disney Channel from March 24, 2006 to January 16, 2011, and inspired a theatrical picture in 2009. Toei Animation purportedly planned to convert the series into an anime, but the project was eventually cancelled and never formally acknowledged. The program was first announced in May 2010 in a posting on the Daizenshu EX, now Kanzenshu, forums, a fan site dedicated to the Dragon Ball media series. In it, Wasted Wisher, an animator at Toei Animation Philippines, revealed the existence of a new Dragon Ball project that will serve as a video game tie-in. This was subsequently revealed as Dragon Ball, the plan to eradicate the Super Science, which was included in the 2010 PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 release Dragon Ball, Raging Blast 2, and the forum. Wasted Wisher mentioned that he had worked on Digimon's Rose Wars and some scenes for an unreleased Hannah Montana anime. 4. He revealed that Toei began developing the program in 2009. 4 different artists were recruited to offer ideas for the series' visual direction. 2 were eventually turned into music videos. At the time of his article, Wasted Wisher said that Toei Animation Philippines had commenced full production on the series, with them now animating the first episode. He hinted that the series will be more faithful to the original than Toei's earlier translation of a Western franchise, Powerpuff Girls Z. Neither Toei nor Disney openly recognized the project. Toei dismissed Wasted Wisher after discovering he was behind a number of leaks, including production drawings for previously revealed Dragon Ball projects. Radiant Lloyd Firefly contacted Wasted Wisher and another Toei Philippines employee, both of whom confirmed that the anime was being produced, but they were unable to provide animation stills because, according to animators at Toei Japan, Toei had become extremely protective of their assets following Wasted Wisher's Dragon Ball leaks. Status, Lost. Herbie the Lovebug Animated Pilot. Herbie the Lovebug was an unsold 3D animated pilot produced by Disney Channel based on the Herbie the Lovebug film series. Modern Cartoons, best known for creating the children's television series JJ the Jet Plane, animated the pilot. Information on this pilot is extremely limited, to the point that it is presently uncertain when it was created, with the only proof coming from numerous photographs on the official Modern Cartoons website. According to the photographs revealed, Herbie would have gone on excursions in many locations, such as the moon or underwater. Status, Lost. Katbot. Katbot was an animated series created by Walt Disney Television Animation and Funny Garbage that was supposed to air on Disney Channel in September 2005 but was never seen. Angela Martini developed the web cartoon of the same name, which served as the basis for the show. According to TV.com, Disney's Katbot is a comedy sitcom about an inquisitive, slightly naive, fun-loving cat robot named Katbot from the planet Catatonia, who, as part of her education, is brought to Earth to observe teenage culture. She uses her hypno-facade to disguise herself as Katerina Botensky, a foreign exchange student from a tiny Eastern European nation. Junior Lebor, the host family's kid, is her best friend and the only one who knows her secret. Katbot's unique and comical view on life on Earth stems from her friendships with a diverse set of Earthlings. Cancellation on June 18, 2005, Angela Martini, the creator of the Katbot comic, posted a, since deleted, comment on her blog in which she expressed her displeasure with Disney's involvement with the program. Standing, Katbot was cancelled before its scheduled premiere date of September 2005, and no episodes were ever broadcast. Aside from 3 short pieces, including a few minutes of the pilot and the introduction, no more video has been provided. Angela Martini's rejection of the final production makes it doubtful that any full episodes will ever be released. Episode list: all 42 episodes were written for the program. It is unclear how many of these were really made. Status: lost. Lafflets. Lafflets were a series of silent short films made between 1922 and 1923 by animators at Walt Disney's first animation company, Laugh-O-Gram Company, that used a variety of animation styles as well as real action material. They served as a compilation of quips based on current events or jokes from Life and Judge magazines. Lafflets was created with the studio's other projects, Laugh-O-Grams and Alice Comedies. Initially conceived as a means of experimenting with the art medium, Walt saw possibilities in the cinema business, owing mostly to their quick and easy production pace. In 1923, a reel of Lafflets was sent to Universal Pictures, and while they expressed interest in selling them, they ultimately declined, with no more attempts to market the films with other firms. Because they were unpublished and had poor preservation, very little information about Lafflets is known, except than the names of some of the films and descriptions supplied by Rudy Ising of what they were like. Availability: Lafflets has now faded into oblivion, with no new footage, images, or other content appearing. However, one short of the series is known to still exist at the Library and Archives Canada, as shown by a listing on their website, and may be watched on site. Status: lost. Musicland. Walt Disney Productions created Musicland, an animated anthology film, in 1955. Following Howard Hughes' acquisition of RKO in the early 1950s, Walt Disney was concerned about the studio's future prospects. He didn't trust Hughes to make the appropriate distribution decisions for his films and wanted to cut relations immediately. However, he was still legally committed to make one more picture for RKO once Peter Pan was released in 1953. Complete the contract, Disney re-edited pieces from Make Mine Music, 1946, and Melody Time, 1948, 2 collections of short musical animated shorts. The film's content is accessible elsewhere, with the exception of the newer film's introduction, transitions, and finish. Although hurried, it was classified as a feature film and satisfied Disney's contract with RKO. Musicland was never exhibited again after its first release, with the exception of a special memorial screening at the National Film Theater to Walt Disney. It has never been released on home video and was formally dropped from the Disney canon in 1985. There is very little information on the film available online today, with the exception of lobby cards and advertising materials. Disney is likely to have a copy of the film itself. Film segments: the film included the following sequences: 1. Trees. 2. All the Cats Join in. 3. Once Upon a Wintertime. 4. Pecos Bill. 5. Johnny Fedora and Alice Bluebonnet. 6. Bumble Boogie. 7. Casey at the Bat. 8. Blame It on the Samba. On March 15, 2015, Starkridgers91, a user on the Blu-ray forums, reported in a topic discussing Disney films on Blu-ray how the Astor Theatre, an Australian movie theatre, had exhibited a 35mm Technicolor print of Musicland obtained from an unidentified collector. The print displayed the shorts in the following order: Johnny Fedora and Alice Bluebonnet, After You've Gone, All the Cats Join in, Once Upon a Wintertime, Blame It on the Samba, Old Mac, Casey at the Bat, Bumble Boogie, Pecos Bill. Aside from 2 private screenings, no additional print screenings are known to have taken place. Status: lost. Pepper Ann. Possibly in the late 1990s, Channel UPN would play bumpers known as Quickies, which may not be the correct name, based on the Disney cartoon series Pepper Ann, which previously had several episodes missing. Each bumper had a unique version, beginning the same way but ending with a distinct situation. Each bumper was around 15 to 16 seconds long. However, it is unclear how much material was generated from each theme. For example, there are multiple Clean Up Your Room sketches, but it is unclear how much content was created for the other themes. The reality and hyper-reality part, which followed Pepper Ann's transformation into a young kid off-screen and her disclosure to her pals, had Nikki's statement cut off at the last second, and the Pepper Ann's mailbag piece about squirrels likewise cuts out before the phrase is finished. There are other bumpers and their variants, but only a few of them have returned on the internet. Furthermore, several of the restored bumpers were chopped off before the last second since they were recorded on VHS cassettes. In March 2024, a Tumblr user commented about these bumpers, prompting the discovery of another portion in a WKBD commercial collection dated February 2000 uploaded by YouTube user ThevsQuest. The episode, titled Words and Phrases for a New Millennium, at 5:14, featured Pepper and on stage, displaying a clip from the character sketch using the phrase freezerburn. This segment stands out because it combined original animation with a program footage. The collection also includes various images from the bumpers, such as the Disney's 1-2 logo at the opening and finish of the program. Status, partially found. Robodz. Robodz Kazagumo Hen, also known as Robodz in other countries, is a short CG anime series developed by Toei Animation and distributed by Disney. The episodes are usually 2 minutes long. It aired on Toon Disney Japan from June 21 to November 24, 2008. The series is a blend of science fiction, action, and comedy. The plot focuses around 3 Robodz ninja, Nejimaru, Sombrenosuk, and Drum Canby, translated as Pin DZ, SOSDZ, and Cam DZ, and their ongoing battle to save Earth from the battle, localized as Bugroy, Army.an English version of the series, produced at Studiopolis Incorporated and directed by Jeff Nimoy of Digimon fame, debuted on Disney XD in America in June 2009 and remained on the network until 2011. It has been shown on the Disney Channel in Southeast Asia. In the English dub, Greg Sipus voiced Pin DZ, while Sam Riegel played an unspecified character. Nimoy revealed that Steve Blum, Carlos Alazraqui, Brian Beacock, Debbie Derryberry, Dave Wittenberg, Darren Norris, Sam Riegel, and J.B. Blanc all appeared in the dub, though he did not specify which parts. Other dubs of the series include Greek, Italian, Polish, Portuguese, Spanish, and Turkish. Status: while no episodes from the original Japanese version have been released online, YouTube user Bashiku posted a promo from Toon Disney Japan on February 21, 2021. Sipus posted a minute-long video on his Facebook page on January 25, 2020. As of August 2023, YouTube features 11 episodes of the Turkish version, 10 episodes of the Portuguese dub, and 19 episodes of the English dub. Status: partially found. Chimpui Disney Channel Asia English dub. Chimpui is an anime series that aired on TV Asahi from November 2, 1989 to April 18, 1991 in Japan. It depicts the story of 2 lovely aliens who travel to Earth to locate the girl who would marry their planet's prince, Mal. Since November 14, 2012, Disney Channel Asia has been airing an English dub of the series. The dub's sole found material is the audio for the opening and conclusion, 3 promos, and 13 episodes with a voiceover in another language. Status: partially found. CommuniCore. CommuniCore was a pavilion built by the Sperry Corporation in 1982 at Walt Disney World's Epcot Center. It was separated into 2 buildings, CommuniCore East and West. These 2 semicircular structures hosted a variety of areas focusing on topics such as energy and computers. Much of CommuniCore's original media has been lost since its closure in January 1994 and subsequent transfer to Innoventions. Much of CommuniCore was based on interactive computer programs, video, and pictures, all of which are now lost save for film taken during the attraction's run. List of attractions: taxi driver, game in the energy exchange area, taught about energy consumption, get jet set, book digital passengers on a plane, Great American Census quiz, touchscreen game quiz game based on your selected genre for things like how many calls are made in America. Stars and Stripes Forever, Building the American Flag on an Assembly Line, Computer Coaster, Making List of Attractions, Taxi Driver, Game in the Energy Exchange Area, Taught about Energy Consumption, Get Jet Set, Book Digital Passengers on a Plane. Great American Census Quiz, touchscreen quiz game based on your selected genre for things like how many calls are made in America. Stars and Stripes Forever, Building the American Flag on an Assembly Line. Computer Coaster, Making Your Own Digital Roller Coaster in CGI. Future Choice Theater Electronic Forum, play a poll in real time in an auditorium while the results are displayed on the screen in front of the player. Travelport, choose a country on a touchscreen monitor and see photographs and facts about it on a large sphere. AT&T True Vision demonstrated color graphics by matching colored squares, bit by bit demonstrated computer memory. Teletrivia demonstrated fiber optic cables while explaining the history of AT&T. Scramble Faces takes a photo of you and scrambles it. You unscramble it like a slide puzzle. Famous Faces identify celebrities that have been removed in scenes. Network Controller, switch calls from overloaded lines to complete as many as possible. Chip Cruiser, destroy a computer virus before it reaches the network, putting it all together. The quiz on Epcot Center, electronic finger paint unknown, status, lost. Halyx. Halyx was a shake band made by Walt Disney Records, auxiliary of the Walt Disney Company, within the early 1980s, motivated by the ubiquity of Star Wars. The band played frequently at Disneyland and within the Los Angeles club scene. Bambi Mo, previous A&R rep for Disneyland Records, states in Mouse Tracks, they were fun. Laura's husband Tom was the keyboardist, and his keyboard was built into a golf cart he drove around on stage as the headlights flashed up into the audience. Roger Freeland, who was over 6 feet tall, wore a Wookiee-like costume and wildly played bass. Tony Caputo, the percussionist, had a gymnastic rope so he could do somersaults and things. And Bruce Gowdy was the handsome leading man, sort of a space-age rock-and-roll guitarist to our Princess Leia type, who was Laura. The response of the Disneyland crowd was so phenomenal, it was causing the park a problem because they did not want people to get up and dance. It wasn't really allowed. Their sound was of the time, the sort of legitimate pop rock you would have heard on the radio, along the lines of Kim Carnes and Blondie. Status, lost. Jungle Cubs English audio. Jungle Cubs was an American cartoon series created by Walt Disney Television Animation for ABC from 1996 to 1998, with repeats airing on the Disney Channel until 2001. It was then re-aired on Disney Junior from 2012 to 2013, as well as on Disney Cinemagic in Latin America and the United Kingdom. The program was based on Disney's 1967 picture The Jungle Book, although the animal characters were young. It included Baloo Bagheera, Shere Khan, Kaya, King Louie, and Hathi. It aired 13 episodes over 2 seasons, each of which lasted 22 minutes and had 2 portions. From 1997 to 1998, the series got 3 VHS releases in the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. Born to be Wild, which contained 3 episodes, Once Upon a Vine, which featured 5 episodes, and Monkey Business, which featured 3 episodes, for a total of 11 episodes. It included freshly animated video of the animal creatures as grown-ups recounting stories to Mowgli. Status only. Born to be Wild was eventually released on DVD in 2003. The other 2 releases were not available online until 2018, when French user Chernabog posted French-dubbed versions of all 3 volumes on Vimeo. In March 2022, the Cartoonian Archive posted the English versions of Once Upon a Vine and Born to be Wild from a Middle Eastern VHS to the Internet Archive. Only the English version of Monkey Business has yet to be discovered and captured online. Additionally, the original Vimeo links for Born to be Wild and Monkey Business in French have subsequently been removed, leaving just Once Upon a Vine available. Since then, Jacob Svensson has re-uploaded the French pieces to YouTube, although at camcorder quality. Status, partially lost. Jack Wagner Disney Park Background Music Collection. Jack Francis Wagner, October 17, 1925 to June 16, 1995, was an American radio broadcaster and actor most known for his involvement with Disneyland. His voice over the park earned him the nickname The Voice of Disneyland. In the 1970s, Jack Wagner created a library of background music for all Disney parks. Over time, some of it has been replaced or completely erased. Availability: a list of lost and discovered music may be found below. All but one song have been discovered. Found songs: Fantasyland background music, Tokyo Disneyland's Fantasyland and Mickey's of Hollywood at Walt Disney World in Florida. Original 1971 WDW Fantasyland Carousel background, still plays at Tokyo Disneyland's Castle Carousel area. Music since 1983. 2 tracks releases on Tokyo Disney soundtracks since Treasures of Fantasy. It's a Small World BGM Florida version, still plays at Tokyo Disneyland's It's a Small World area. Music since 1983, Main Street USA Christmas BGM, playing in Disney parks during Christmas since 1972. Adventureland and Westernland BGM at Tokyo Disneyland, still playing since 1983. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea area. Q Music, still playing at Tokyo Disney Seas cafes in American waterfront since 2001. Matterhorn background music at Disneyland, still playing since 1978. Village House background music, still playing at Disneyland and Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom in Fantasyland since the 1970s or early 1980s. Lost songs: Mad Tea Party, Disney World original 1971 version, status, partially lost. Going Wild with Jeff Corwin. Going Wild with Jeff Corwin was a 2-season wildlife documentary television series that aired on the Disney Channel from 1997 to 1999. Jeff Corwin travels to exotic locations all over the world in the series, including South Africa, Canada, certain U.S. states, Tennessee, Louisiana, and so on, and Hawaii. In each episode, Jeff seeks for the feature creature while interacting with other creatures. Jeff searches for creature clues to assist him locate the highlighted creature. Some episodes include Jeff Corwin exploring ancient ruins and tunnels. Availability: the series was never released on DVD. However, it was available in limited quantities on VHS in 1998 to 1999 and 2002. Even yet, there are a few incomplete episodes, although in Latin Spanish, and promos available online. Between September 19 and September 20, 2018, YouTuber Analog Memories posted 2 previews for the program. Status, partially found. The Jersey. From January 1999 until March 2004, the Disney Channel aired 64 episodes of The Jersey, a sports-themed comedy program. The program followed a group of youngsters who came into possession of the titular jersey, a mystical item of clothing that transformed them into the bodies of real-life sports legends like professional skateboarder Tony Hawk. The changes were frequently depicted in Quantum Leap style, with some shots showing the young actors as the sports stars and others displaying the athlete as a guest star. The show was never released on home video and is not available on Disney's streaming channel Disney+, despite other Disney Channel series from the time, such as So Weird, being frequently available. It is unclear why the series has not been made more readily available. The show's frequent usage of real-life sports teams may have resulted in complicated licensing deals with the sporting organizations involved, impeding future releases. Availability: only 29 of the 64 episodes aired have been fully discovered and are available prior to 2023, with all credits going to YouTube user Gleeful321 for uploading 19 full episodes across multiple seasons of the series, and YouTube user DarkmanX16 for uploading 9 more episodes across seasons of the series, including promos and bumpers. Another YouTube user, DisneyandStuff101, posted his showing of the episode 3 Boys and a Nephew to YouTube, bringing the total number of episodes to 30. The episode Origins, Part 1 contains clips from the episode Origins, Part 2, which is presented in the opening few minutes of its episode, indicating that it is partially found. On October 29, 2023, YouTube user DarkmanX16 posted 6 additional previously unreleased episodes of the series. The pilot and first episode of the series, The Magic Jersey, uploaded by Gleeful321, had a missing scene in the beginning as it transitioned to the scenes with the kids roller skating, marking it as partially lost until November 30, 2023. When Vexer6 uploaded a full version with the complete beginning from a user from the sitcom's online forums, making 36 out of 64 episodes. Discovered episode list. Season 1. The first season premiered on January 30, 1999, and concluded a year later on June 24, 2000, with a total of 19 episodes, 5 of which were missing. Season 2. The second season premiered 3 months after the final episode of the first series, on September 2, 2000, and lasted 21 episodes until October 25, 2001, when the season's final episode aired. This leaves 9 episodes missing from this season. Season 3. The third and final season premiered a year after the second season, on October 5, 2002, and concluded with its last episode on March 23, 2004, for a total of 24 episodes, with 13 missing and 1 partially discovered. Status: partially found. Chaddy Panic. This is a fictional film or TV series about the Panic of Hercules. Although there is no director or storyboard with at least one planned scene. So don't be surprised by the status of existence unconfirmed. Chicken Little original cut. During World War II, the U.S. government commissioned the Disney Studios to create different propaganda cartoons, one of which was titled Chicken Little, not to be confused with Disney's later 2005 CGI animated feature of the same name, and was released in 1943. Based on the titular story, it attempted to warn American viewers not to accept enemy propaganda. Then follows Foxy Loxy, a fox who utilizes tips from a psychology book to entice a barnyard's chicken colony into his cave and effectively murder them all. Originally, the short was going to be less subtle in its message. Foxy Loxy would be reading a copy of Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf rather than a psychology book, and the bird's wishbones at the end of the short would be marked with swastikas. However, those ideas were later changed to avoid the short appearing dated after the war. It is uncertain if the original version was completed, released, and then changed, or if it was altered during production. Differences in the original and final cuts aside from the previously stated Mein Kampf and wishbone concepts. The original short was supposed to feature less subtle speech, but this was modified as the Disney Studios opted to give it a more enduring appeal. Existence. A cartoon research article discusses the short and its original edit. Aside from sharing the original script, the article indicates that animator Milt Gray claims to have seen the original cut in a cinema theater during the 1960s. However, the authenticity of this remark is uncertain. Aside from that, a response from Chris Sobianak to a comment from Bill Cotter on the article's comment box adds that he discovered what appears to be a layout sketch of Foxy Loxy reading Mein Kampf, but it's still unclear, as previously stated, whether the short was changed during production or completed and later changed, as that sketch appears to imply one of the two. The article itself refers to the latter possibility, hinting that the alterations might have been done before 1950, the year Frank Graham, voice actor for the majority of the characters on the short, died. Status: existence unconfirmed. Little Einsteins' second pitch pilot. Little Einsteins is a 2-season, 65-episode American animated preschool series that aired on Playhouse Disney between October 2005 and December 2009. The program revolves around a gang of children named Leo, June, Quincy, and Annie who travel the world in a rocket ship dubbed Rocket to fulfill missions while teaching art and music appreciation. History. On November 6, 2001, the Walt Disney Company purchased Baby Einstein for $25 million. In a news statement issued following the acquisition, Disney stated that one of their initial intentions with the firm was to transform the brand into a multimedia franchise, creating new goods that would appeal to an older audience. The first of these goods would be the Little Einstein preschool series. Disney reported that the series was set to premiere in late 2002. However, due to various delays, the series was not published until 2005. First pilot, 2003, the Little Einstein trademark was submitted on November 16, 2001. According to many other trademarks, the initial goal for Little Einstein was to include characters from the original Baby Einstein video series. However, this plan was abandoned early on. It was then decided to design all new characters for the program. As a result, the series idea revolved upon 4 children, who remained throughout its growth. A pitch pilot for the series was created in 2003 and was well received by Disney. prompting them to greenlight the series, which is presently set to broadcast on Playhouse Disney in 2005 and 2004. The pilot was turned into a 30-second clip that appeared on numerous Baby Einstein VHS and DVD releases that year. This trailer showcased the series' first iteration, and while the broad foundation of the final series can be seen, it used different character designs, an unused theme tune, and lower quality animation. Some specifics about that pilot episode: 1. Leo has brown eyes and an unusually formed nose. He wears a mint green shirt with a stripe toward the bottom, orange shorts identical to those he wore in the final show, and blue sneakers. The pilot presents him as the group's leader, guiding the other characters and the audience through their tasks, much as the final program does. However, he did occasionally check a laptop to investigate details about their missions. In the pilot, his full name is Leonardo, implying that Leo was only a nickname given to him by friends. 2. Annie has freckles on her cheeks and pale skin. Her pigtails are longer and look to be braided, secured with 2 red bands. She has a white shirt underneath a navy blue denim outfit and huge red boots. In the pilot, she was portrayed as a southern girl with a heavy and pouty, which was drastically toned down in the final program once all signs of her southern heritage were eliminated. In addition, she drove Rocket in the pilot, whereas Leo did on the finale. 3. Quinky has lighter brown complexion and a thicker tuft of hair. He wears a cream shirt, a cyan hat, green slacks, and plain red shoes. In the pilot, he is shown as an anxious worrywart who easily startled by a variety of situations. In the last episode, Quincy is much braver, with his only main fear being the darkness. He was initially called Wolfgang, nicknamed Wolfie by his buddies, although a few lines in the pilot screenplay show that the name Byron was also considered. He used to possess Cuddly Dudley, a stuffed toy dog that served as a comfort blanket for him anytime he felt worried. Cuddly Dudley was eliminated from the final program. 4. Rocket, previously known as the Cosmobile, is a badly produced 3D model composed of an oval shape with a red texture on the bottom half and a glass dome-like top half. He also has some capabilities in the pilot that do not appear in the final program, such as a digital voice. In the final episode, Rocket speaks through xylophone noises, the where arrow, which was used to determine where the little Einsteins would travel, and the capacity to disguise. Because the Rocket Room was not included in this pilot, the kids convened at a nearby park. Second pilot, 2004. By late 2004, the series had been updated to properly reflect the final result. The logo and character designs were updated to their final incarnations, and several new elements were added. However, the theme song heard in the previous trailer was retained. Another pilot was developed and offered to Disney, who approved the alterations. This pilot, like the 2003 pilot, was converted into its own trailer, which appeared on different Disney DVD and VHS releases in early 2005. Shortly later, the series took on its ultimate moniker, Little Einsteins, as we know it today. This was the last pitch pilot created for the series, which would make its formal debut in August 2005 with the direct-to-DVD film Our Huge Adventure and eventually premiere on Playhouse Disney in October. The pilot is commonly referred to as the Starry Night Test by production members, most likely because of the Starry Night painting included in it. The designs in the second pilot are nearly identical to those in the final program, with the exception of a few small differences, such as Quincy's color scheme. The Little Einstein trademark was abandoned on August 10, 2006. Search for more than 15 years, the pilots faded into obscurity, with the only remnants of their existence being the aforementioned trailers, which were included in 2004 to 2005 Baby Einstein home media releases, and the show's website at the time, which was archived via the Wayback Machine and included another early version of the logo. Though the 2004 pilot is mainly unreported, certain aspects of the 2003 pilot have reappeared in subsequent years, and late 2021. Some crew members who were credited with working on Little Einsteins during its early phases were contacted. Some of them were able to share a collection of screenshots from the 2003 pilot, which helped them grasp the topic. In 2022, a demo reel of the 2003 pilot was discovered, with a few silent segments of Rocket soaring around. In late 2023, a model sheet for the characters and script from the 2003 pilot was discovered. The script in question is dated June 11, 2003. Also in late 2023, Mike Luzzi, who worked on the second pilot, supplied several flash models of the characters' designs from the pilot. Some elements were corrupted and replaced with other .swift file components. Status: partially found. Mickey and Minnie sex tape. In 1936, just before Walt Disney's 35th birthday, his brother Roy persuaded Disney workers to throw him a surprise birthday party, to which they consented. Supposedly, two anonymous animators thought it would be humorous to produce a short showing Mickey and Minnie Mouse having sex for the celebration. When the clip was aired, Disney feigned laughter before appreciating the animation's excellence and asking who made it. When the two animators approached, he quickly dismissed them and fled the premises. He allegedly ordered the destruction of all known copies of the cartoon shortly afterward. It's unclear whether any copies of this short remained after this. Many have denounced the short's existence entirely, as the first public recounting of this story was in Mark Elliott's 1994 Disney biography Walt Disney, Hollywood's Dark Prince, a book that has sparked significant controversy among other Disney authors and colleagues due to inconsistencies and factual errors, among other things. In a 1979 article titled The Three Most Important Things in Life, science fiction writer Harlan Ellison tells a similar anecdote about his one day of work for Disney. Ellison alleges that on his first day, he utilized Disney character voices to joke about a sexual Disney film that would rip the lid off the goody two-shoes hypocrisy that lies sweltering beneath the surface of G-rated true-life adventures. Unbeknownst to Ellison, Roy Disney and some of the company's producers were sitting behind him. When Ellison returned after lunch, he learned he had been fired. It is unclear if the 1995 account exaggerates this tale or is altogether unrelated. Status: existence unconfirmed. Power Rangers animated series. In 2009, Disney ordered an animated pilot for Disney XD based on the tokusatsu series Power Rangers. There is very little information on the pilot. Mentions this pilot is mentioned in a Facebook page for a Power Rangers news website. On the same page is a concept trailer for a scrapped animated Power Rangers film. Another indication of the pilot appeared on Rangerboard, a Power Rangers forum, where Ron Wasserman, who had composed music for the first 6 PR seasons, mentioned an animated series set to premiere in 2007, stating that a buddy had worked on a promotional video for it. He hasn't mentioned anything since, though. The third and last suggestion came from DeviantArt user Brandon Ragnar, who claimed to have been engaged by Disney to work on an animated series for Power Rangers. In his article, he offers some concept images for his revamp of the team. Again, there have been no mentions since. The reality of a genuine pilot being pitched has been called into question, as no more information regarding the pitch pilot has surfaced, and only references of it remain. Nerdcore pitch in the mid-late 2000s, Nerdcore Entertainment, now DHX Studios Vancouver, proposed Disney on an animated Power Rangers series. To assist sell the concept, a crew of 3 created a promotional short over the course of a weekend. Disney declined the offer. Status: existence unconfirmed. Uncle Walt. Uncle Walt is a 1964 cartoon created by then-student Robert Swarth as part of the UCLA Animation Workshop. The short's sole known public showing was in June 1972 at the American Film Institute as part of a program titled 50 Years of American Animation. Plot: the short begins with images of Walt Disney at various ages alongside the title, followed by a slow pan across a graveyard full of Perry the squirrel and her family's headstones, a reference to Disney's 1957 live-action fantasy Perry, based on Felix Salten's 1938 novel of the same name. A very early-style Mickey and Minnie Mouse, various racist caricatures, and toilet humor. Following that, there is a scene in which the female centaurs from Fantasia work in a red-light district with Goofy as their pimp, and another scene in which various disturbing scenes from Disney films, including a scene from Snow White in which the queen transforms into a hag, are shown, all while a group of rabbit children watch in horror. The ending shots in the short show the 7 dwarves from Snow White gathered around Mickey Mouse in a mouse mausoleum, praising him in a setting evocative of the 1937 film. Status: there was a notion that the short was originally developed by Disney personnel in 1954. But this was swiftly refuted because it bears allusions to the 1957 feature Perry. Uncle Walt hasn't been screened in public since 1972. Academy Film Archive has subsequently preserved the short in its Robert Swarth collection. On January 1, 2024, Thunderbean Animation announced a limited-time Blu-ray release named Public Domain Mouse Adventures. This CD will feature all 3 1928 Mickey cartoons, as well as additional mouse adventures from other studios, including Uncle Walt's. This Blu-ray has now been removed from the internet, while records of its listing still remained. On August 11, 2024, a 16mm film reel from the short was advertised on eBay for $150 and sold at $172. Several still photos of the cartoon were included with the listing. On August 30, 2024, Steve Stanchfield, Thunderbean's current owner, declared in an LMW Forums post that the Public Domain Mouse Adventures Blu-ray package will no longer include the short film due to several factors related to the film, the specifics of which are unclear. Although Steve made it clear that this was not due to the LMW or the Walt Disney Company. Status: lost. J.O.N.A.S. In 2007, a pilot for the Disney Channel television series J.O.N.A.S, later renamed J.O.N.A.S LA, was shot. At the time, the show was called J.O.N.A.S. The initial pilot had a very different idea from the finished program. This pilot had the Jonas Brothers as secret operatives who used concerts as a cover to keep their work hidden. They worked for an organization called J.O.N.A.S, which stood for Junior Operatives Networking as Spies. They attempted to hide their agent job from their mother and younger brother Frankie. The Jonas Brothers' real-life parents portrayed the parents in this rendition of the program. In addition, John Ducey, who plays their father in the version of J.O.N.A.S that aired, was initially the head of J.O.N.A.S. In an interview with Radio Free Entertainment, Chelsea Kane, then Chelsea Staub, explained that Stella is a writer for a teen magazine who is unaware that her brothers are covert operatives. She goes on dates with all 3 brothers without their knowledge. She then discusses this in her magazine piece. While discussing the show, she said, "So pretty much the entire show, it's all of us lying to each other, and kind of everything backfiring, and us getting caught in awkward situations. It's really funny. It's a little confusing, but," airing according to an interview in the June 2008 edition of Popstar magazine, the Hollywood writers' strike influenced when the pilot was shot. Hence the planned release date was moved back from June 2008 to fall-winter 2008. Pilot for J.O.N.A.S is believed to have broadcast as a sneak preview on Disney Channel Asia in 2008, according to a contact who resided in Singapore at the time. Following this showing, some stills from the pilot were distributed. There is no indication that the pilot episode of J.O.N.A.S was shown outside of Disney Channel Asia. According to the story, Disney Channel showed a sneak look of the pilot that was previously shared on YouTube. Change in the show: the show's premise was revised in 2008 to focus on the brothers juggling their lives as pop stars and as typical high school students. The premise was altered because, with the publication of Camp Rock, the reality series Jonas Brothers, Living the Dream, and the film Jonas Brothers, the 3D concert experience, the brothers became too popular to be imagined as anything other than enhanced versions of themselves. Availability: the only video of the pilot accessible is from the 2008 Disney Channel sneak premiere. Fans of the Jonas Brothers have urged several writers and crew members who worked on this pilot to make it public. They've indicated that they don't have authorization to distribute it. As a result, this pilot is unlikely to surface until Disney distributes it or a broadcast from Disney Channel Asia is discovered. Status: partially found. La Chambre Folle. La Chambre Folle, The Crazy Room, was a French Disney children's television show block that aired on TF1 in 1998. Premise: it was a localization of the British Disney kid program block Wake Up in the Wild Room, which ran from 1996 to 1998. Both concerts took place in a gigantic amusement house with windows that closed and opened to reveal different visuals: 2 flying dust creatures with long floppy ears, a frightening mischievous ghost chef, and a human host. The presentations included a combination of Disney cartoons, comedy/storyline skits featuring the characters, typically the human host dealing with the antics of the monsters and the ghost, and a game show in which youngsters competed around the home. The last round required the children to toss socks at the windows while avoiding striking photographs of the ghost chef. If they did, he would appear and throw pies in the children's faces. Localization: Dave Benson Phillips hosted the show in its British iteration, while Frederick Richard, aka Billy, took over in the French version. Billy formerly hosted Disney shows on French television, originally known as Gary the Ghost. The Ghost Chef is now Terrenoble in French and is performed by a new actor. As filming on Wake Up in the Wild Room came to an end, the same sets were used to shoot the French adaptation. Availability: while episodes of Wake Up in the Wild Room are widely obtained online, there is no film or photographs of La Chambre Folle available. Status: lost. Footage of Walt acting on stage as Mickey for the pointer. There appears to be no need to introduce animator/businessman/producer Walt Disney. The man behind the world's most renowned entertainment corporation, his most well-known creation is the cartoon character Mickey Mouse, which he also voiced in his early appearances. What is less well known is that Walt Disney was actually physically videotaped playing as Mickey Mouse so that his studio's animators could use the footage as reference. Background: The Pointer, a 1939 Mickey Mouse animated short, is the cartoon in which Walt Disney physically acted as an animation reference. The Pointer is also famous for having the first modern Mickey design, with distinct white sclerae and a peach-toned face, which was popularized in the 1940 animated film Fantasia. Walt Disney was very enthusiastic when he'd talk about a cartoon he would ask his team to work on, often moving and acting the characters' personalities and mannerisms. When he described The Pointer, he would physically emulate how Mickey would act when facing a bear. The animation team found him so funny acting out his confusion that they asked if they could shoot a film of him as he recorded the lines. The footage Disney hesitantly consented, but only provided the camera was far away and the animators didn't appear to be staring at him, which made him understandably embarrassed. The camera was so far away that Disney appeared as a tiny figure on film, but his performance, dressed in baggy clothes and a felt hat, was strong enough to serve as a good reference for the cartoon's scene. Notably, while on stage, Disney intuitively indicated with his palm that Mickey Mouse was the size of a tiny child. Disney declined to replicate the experience, and when the animators attempted to locate the video 7 years later, it was missing, with no explanation. It has yet to be found. Not one photograph of it has survived. Status: lost. Mickey Mouse pogrom. In the 1930s, Polish artist Jan Jarosz had a strong dislike for Disney and despised the figure Mickey Mouse. Jan Jarosz developed the short film Mickey Mouse Pogrom in an attempt to publicly disgrace Disney before the war. Plot: according to what is known about the short, it was about Mickey Mouse being mercilessly abused, tortured, and slain by Polish creatures who may have been attempting to get Mickey to leave their homeland. Availability: the short was never completed and made available to the public, probably because it was judged too terrifying and unsettling for children. A book on pre-war animation named Mickey Imyscy has just a photo and information. It is uncertain whether the short will reappear in public. Status: lost. So, this iceberg is done. Don't forget about like and subscribe for next icebergs. Bye and see you soon.